Benida Kale
Joli daga yedo yok story wa TV kama wanywa matud politics in northern Uganda ki Uganda at large. Wanena atmosphere net is so charged. Wanena presidential candidates who team nominations when they try to work in their campaign trails. Now kitung bodwa in northern Uganda kind. Tutwali ya choli sapi John. Wanena dana dek dongu waro. That is the president Yoweri Museveni Kagota Nandala Mafabi mati on the FDC ticket okaro kigulu kanyo neno Chagulanyi ubedi kid gum the other day chi wamier wanywa kong matututwal presidential campaign muchaka ene mukane ni pogo war furi ya chole long ento so far watiki ngara chel muwa endo war tiako dia chole ni weng, that is the NRM flag bearer and the incumbent president Yoweri Museveni Kagota maen tika ward utiako dong dia chole long and campaign mamege tie the manifesto is themed or dubbed protecting the gains. Chi and your normal host or Dr. Fred atiki panelist kan ario magibo konyo wanywako topic man. They can introduce themselves.
Foi matek umero dori. Ke foi panelist la wara Your Excellency Ladit Miguel. Ke in mete nena wa story wa TV. Anya la beja Henry. Ati doctor professionally. Ati voluma tiki miri matek madai politics. No bana kwanya nomination form michung mibiro council apa vulu mi ba dege la yibi division. That'll give me ubale. Madong, that is a discussion for another day. Ti atamune foi.
For matek la beja mibino.
The foi matek jomateka libo waduju ki story wa TV. Foi umera host ka foi panelist la wara la dit la beja. Anya Miguel Brian Odong atie latien kwan Dagil President gan kwan magilwon the East African Institute for Management Science. Atie be a candidate iye mateka biono in area magilwon level line ward. Candidate for councillor 4 level line ward. Marshal representing one level line. La Rope City Division Council. For
matek pi jomatika nena wa Lokmani unyo manifesto pa presidential candidate Chel ma endo war northern Uganda weng ma wando neno. Lokmani protecting the gains. Ti lokmati very common dog dano wanena ka weng protecting the gains. That is the theme for the presidential manifesto or for this 2026 election. Ma NRM flag bearer tika chi Wamier from the youth perspective, Machalo Vulu, and from the northern region, Wamier unpacking, Wamier Yako, protecting the gains in Ngomati ye. In Machalo Danmeti, northern Uganda, Kwema interest in Miraberi ye. Protecting the gains, what gains are we protecting? Ladid Miguel, wanena lo fonye furu akajemo jem gi furu gera en ento watiki UPE ki USE la dito wajo loka unemployment rates la dito wajo loka PDM ki kita vulu petika nona kwere, but we are protecting the gains.
All right, for Mario, our viewers, for Omera moderator, key panelist. We got for Omera the time wayo. Though wayo in the most ceremonial way. And I take it here local. Mario, Omera white ni Kitung Bora. The government, the current NRM government is almost 40 years in power. So I want to congratulate them for keeping in power. The motive of every political party is to attain power. So if they succeed in consolidating their power for all these years, they deserve to be congratulated. Now, where the whole discussion comes in is Pango NRM government in China, let's protect the gains. Ani Tama, Atamani, the framers of the NRM manifestos, since Uberu Dharma Wigi Kwiri and they wish well for Ugandans. In papers, in principle, the NRM manifesto is not bad. In principle, the protecting the gain statement is not bad. NRM graduated from prosperity for all. They came to
Securing the future.
securing the future. Or securing, yes, securing the future. From there, they're now saying, let's protect the gains. If, in the actual sense, there do you make a man of NRM, including the citizens, who in the struggle to ensure that the prosperity was for everyone. Then we had a better reason. To also say, together, let's secure the future. Now, if everyone participated willingly and fully in the securing the future mission, Maga meant putting all the other factors constant in ensuring securing the future miro better securing and kitimu tumabeda. Then we have no problem to come now and say, let's protect the prosperity we got, let's protect the future we secured. Like saying we protect the gains.
What
And
gain?
so, I'm going to one more time when I kini open la penny ni make what you need prosperity for only ori. Make ba wani secure in the future ni latini manual after the secure in the future ni. Chel anyi mo mag secure in nani ikume. These are the questions you should be asking. Kado yine ni ada prosperity ni ori future securing ma kirin la nyoro money, God forbid, Tawai Chan, Lupino can live for the next 50 years, like more year more. You have the reason to protect the gains.
And there are people.
There are people. And we are I will come here and say, well, in the prosperity for only, it will not be so bad for the government of the NRM to use it for more than 15 years. Because the first 5 years, Maguti with the slogan of let's prosperity for only, for over annually Uganda wing. Though they intended new over than wing, by coming out with the different initiatives.
Yung part.
Many prosperity will be padan wing. But the biggest problem, any Kijum can more top within the system. Tidan Kanama you balo and nano NRM attack. Well, so come on NRM from 2011 when 1040 did prosperity for all. I don't know, that is good. But graduating when you after NRM, a few ministers, Magiber in the cabinet ministry, a few of them. I also want to say not all of them, a few of them. After seeing a few of them had the prosperity, the government decided to move to securing their future. Again, after seeing that a few of them, by then, when they were securing the future, the 5 years, the men were in it, we are now moving into the middle income economy. The middle income economy. When the Dana Mwenda buried the Kotalang Puya cannot afford to buy a soul of 800 shillings. La take one Makwano Lamour Primary School or Lamour Secondary School cannot afford to buy sanitary pads for 3,000. Then you move and say, let's now protect the gains. It's okay, but right. But I think in this context, one Uganda, more the Kinpema party, we know what it means. To me, the higher management of the party as NRM wished well for the people of Uganda by planning how the things were supposed to be done. But they failed into lock in any, not even in the implementation. No one give a campaign or me give false report. Ni la did no by China as we talk. Prosperity don't take away. Na did not by China as we talk, we have secured the future. It don't want you know, protecting the gains. These are false reports. I am very sure women are going to again paying. In most cases, when the president is coming to the areas within, let me zero down to northern Uganda or actually sub-region. Lo chan mo kani chalo ya punen. Let me give an example. When the president was coming to Kauna grounds, the real hustlers, the tipper drivers, even though you're going to Kauna grounds, the Kauna porque pa kan ba where
Kangaramo why ni for security reasons.
no way, but they were there. They were there and there was no insecurity. Saka president don't know with his insecurity.
Maybe to add on that, pero a Germany, before Budi, maramo kilometers Pierre in 2 days. Not when the president was coming.
So Genma, to me, the main point I'm trying to bring out is the people who are supposed to represent us. Malabola did con why did prosperity for all the poor or bolo two amati la more, poor bolo two amati coach, poor bolo two amati bulu city. Kong a meeting when okay, pang big more, in other words, these were yes men. The white American yes, American yes. Now let me enter into the issue of education. Nenova, no matter why you need there is one no. I believe that one no me recommend the panel for boasting kede. The ideology is not theirs. We automatically become part of the UPE, or one no as they say, because we are members of the United Nations. It is not the ideology of the NRM. So any other government coming on to say whatever mean on this wrong, they are actually forced to do that. But they are not even doing it. Because after doing it in the UN, you are to abide by check for UN when including me Kwan, actually Guinea, TMNA, Kemi Kwan Kanyuele when me Uganda. It will move forward. So even when the UN is forcing the government to do that, and Kenyan women they're not doing that. No.
But one could argue ni kwani like kay neno icharo. We schools mate chara. Meron let's think about l'amour. Let's think about amoro. Kay chara gago icharo namo pora did figure. We know there are government schools and kids are going to school.
The government schools are even in the cities.
Yes.
But the question comes the question of quality. In the quality of education market no the government schools mainly unlock beginning. Wrong the quality of education market no private schools. Yet the same teachers go to the same schools. So there is need for the government to spice up UN meaning. Secondly, I like what the government has come out with the issue of tertiary learning institutions. But to me, I think there is one point they need to look into. I don't fancy when you're palmer ni Latino Chero Berigan Kwan, then the best such a child will do is to come and sit under a veranda, pour up Bongapolotian Moyet in your poor. Chicken, you will know Latino better, then Yamakware, what do gang, by the veranda, do kill small center, take up for the wing Moye Polotino. You say, yes, we have given a job to the citizens. No way. I think the government can actually do something better than that.
No.
Let's graduate into bringing a textile uh, machines in the region, in all the region, so that ngara mo ke kwano tailoring ni actually be pero be tailoring ke ngara mo team entire course like fashion and design mako a chero kichil ko kar mate world the street chimuni this was a product ma pure etia so that we stop gam jima ruwa ga wa eto kache gamena tamani funyo dano with the skills made dapo the ball dapo the win down. It is an achievement, then I'm sorry for them.
But gamna pe phone ko bon. Pe dapo.
But now, if we are poor,
But the opportunity to do it is not there.
but there is nowhere where I can do it. So I have to go to where I can get 100 shillings, 200 shillings. Marong will biscuit kila 10 actually gang kwan. Not this. Will biscuit kila 10. Kila chama kin gi gang kwan. Era kaya yung local school fees do better gang. Pero school fees.
I want us to go to our second question. At all, this submission, your submission for well of the late Chora, who said, well, opoke wungo, opoke chumaria, put out your way, one poke chumaria, Taiwan chumaria.
No, that was, to me, that was a political statement. Because now, you see, that was a political statement. Even when the government is saying they could say they cannot provide, huh? Then why did you provide the knowledge? Now, we are not saying need to Jimmy Wayne. But I know opportunities to do that. Now, this brings me to the point of Rotelawa representing one ending. There is in eastern Uganda, they are not bad off. There is a whole textile
a Jewish company. There's also a Jewish
not
company.
only the Jewish. But now that textiles company employs about 2,000 citizens from there, eastern Uganda.
Because now, when you look keenly into the manifesto, now material they are talking about wealth creation and growth of the economy. Right now, the economy of Uganda is at 67 trillion. And Kitika Wajani, by 2040, the economy is going to 500 billion USD in just 15 years. It looks very nice on paper, but practically, to me, it doesn't add up. PNK, when you watch the strategies or the enablers the government is saying they're going to use, they're talking about bringing in the 33% of the people, but they are still not in the money economy, into the money economy. Down, they just work and mouth into the money economy. And they are using strategies, shallow PDM, yoga. But we have seen a lot of things. We had poverty eradication plan, we had PRDP, Wabedoki Nights, Wabedoki, very many Wabedoki no SAF. But all of them, then how sure we need PDM is going to create that tenfold economy within 15 years. So to me, that one is not attainable. It works on paper, but practically does not work. PNK why down again? It is we the citizens we have a failure pocket, but you are talking in the economy is like this. But you move it can go no down to your number now. People do not have money. That is one. Two, come to infrastructure development. Government why they have constructed 3,000 kilometers of roads in 40 years.
Six.
No, it is from 3,000 in 1986 to around 6,000 in 2025. That is 3,000. My NRM government, but then when you in Tanzania, the late President Magufuli, 3,500 kilometers of roads in just 5 years. Plus the other one, about may so rest in peace. That one shows the level of seriousness Pa presidents Arioni. Someone has constructed 3,000 in 40 years, but then we have an individual in East Africa, not in the US, not in China, at all in East Africa, in Tanzania, 3,500
Within 5 years.
within 5 years.
Mm.
They're talking about electricity distribution.
Mm.
Well, yeah, Paul might go or Kaweng, but still, will might take Uganda, lawyer kama kuachari Uganda sells much in South Sudan, Uganda sells much in Kenya.
Mm.
Other countries like Kenya, they're paying 5 cents per kilowatt hour, but Uganda we are paying 10. And then there's a lot of load shedding. Kina remote ke wajiri umeme manyambe. Nitu katoka na umeme. Umeme manyambe. Kaweng no it is very inconsistent. So Latina will be money is operating a saloon business. But surviving kini at the expense of high taxation. There's also statistics research was done small scale businesses 90% does not live to see its 1 year birthday. Me and TLD we have a lot of taxation. They're giving us taxes at 18% to 22 there. But I know an investor comes from China, from Russia, whatsoever. Being in Uganda, they are given taxation of only 3%. And on the 3%, even all the workers they have been imported into Uganda. So after working, they do what is called profit repatriation. Profit magiti Uganda knowing ketere do bogi. Ipe ka chulo tax, ipe ka miu miu tikan wale Uganda. Kiti miu tikan wale Uganda, no ide chulo ke chalo kita Chinese, kita Indians chulo ke dana, chulo di piara, mayana di piara, bit madita lo na limia chit. So that is the level mawati ke Uganda.
Waneno manifesto ni the NRM government lo ma tut bene iloka human capital development. Kwan yotkom what do you have to say before I go to
No, I think I'm Robino Kenyo. Because when you look at human development, government I think about gamero ilukero palutadero. Yomi kwan, ki yomi yotkom, ki yomi nongoti. Why up ke yomi nongoti? In Chalo Vulu, we have over 1.2 million youth. Magitiki academic papers. Mami algo betkati. Yato magi pegati. So the president make penyo and now what do you have to say about that? Now for us, we are looking at the European way of employment. Yet the government has provided 1 million to each household in PDM to employ ourselves. But PDM, the money comes 1 million. No uncle amon mer awage charo. Uti ki transport me the mia chelo bini town in sub county. Uti da ki tiana mi low. So at the end, Dana Matiga mi PDM but they're also not trustworthy. Gitong alimia rio. So no like gante dak alimia which alimia bear ma
Mukene.
most of it let me put the record straight. Most of it, almost none 60 to 80%. They're going with that amount of money. Then yotkum. To some extent, it is a mixed reaction, can you? In the field of health, watiki gum immunization lo tinga mato mano food pego kwa makachi level lo dak pain Uganda mamero for ye Ministry of Health. Petote mano pian ke nano.
You're the NRM government.
Okay, let me put it the NRM government. Pian ke nano. Statistics was done by UNICEF. Manurene in Uganda. It has reduced to 160 per 100,000 live births who dies before reaching 1 year. It is lower than in Kenya, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and other countries. Research then they're also getting assistance. We have good maternity homes. So megewa magito ilok manual nyo that kiloni Okay, let me look for a simpler word, but okay, that period, mano ichero kanyual, inyual, then kagwakala tem that for the first 6 weeks, they level that thing. Then ke ichero, the government has also constructed health center every 5-kilometer radius. There's a health facility. But where does the problem comes from?
Every 5?
Every 5-kilometer radius, take a medical facility. Okay, now let us look, for instance, a Gulu City, Watiki Badege, Watiki Layibi, Watiki Laro, Watika Yue. Then we also have Gulu Referral Hospital. They are in very close proximities. So, the structures are there. Lotich Banatie, but Lotichi, how are they behaving to the sick people? Lotich, they are not in the hospitals. That is one. Two, Kitiere no be ya, okay, now budget, where is that money going? That is the question, mom, we need to ask ourselves. Where is that money going? What take a lot of avenues to fight corruption. What take IGG, what take Auditor General, I know also works on corruption. Then we also, for each ministry, there's also a session in State House Anti-Corruption Unit to investigate such, but it is not being done. So, when you come to education, we have structures. We take schools, government, they're struggling to create at least 6 secondary schools in every
Parish.
Every parish, sub-county parish. Every parish, at least. But then the school dues are still very high. The government is only providing 22,000 SUSE and then UPE. It's not enough. School fees when you go to a school like we call it Cholo, $1 million plus. And government pay what they need. They're providing free education with subsidizing with 22,000.
I want to come there. Let me work out your on Kenya. I didn't mean opportunity in my day in Kenya. Wallo from NRM manifesto protecting the gains. My thought. And Amir do done in the context of northern Uganda. In the past, when it's not news, northern Uganda is a region Mateka are from war. It's not new for the last 20 years. Monoka child counting from 2005. Northern Uganda has been one of the regions, Madam Furuno, foreign aid lawyer, the working government programs. Northern Uganda is one of the most fertile regions in the country with the flattest land, fertile and flat, meaning large-scale agriculture can happen. 1 year, government of Ukarochana, my dear lawyer, we're taking on my bear. And for fully statistics, Nyorone were the second poorest regions. We are one of the poorest regions in the country. Now, going forward, work securing the future, going forward, when for the very first time, government program malo straight where there. That is the PDM. La bon gono ko ki nga gi majui ko waye ni gi chama chende. So going forward, in time in northern Uganda, mira strategizing. No, madam mira wa team going forward. What does this manifesto have for us in specific? Watamoni gwa vulu no annually northern Uganda if you have again going forward.
Now, the report in ke kero chibria kero. Na bongo moya kan ye. Well, you check for my ear kwara. See, it's a drop of water here. You know, but no. That's the same thing with the PDM. The PDM, in purpose, it's a very good thing. But PDM will never work in northern Uganda. Because the level of Chanma, actually, and the people of northern Uganda is beyond now. This government knew very well the name. Ada one of the people, Melwayne, over 20 years. One generation Martino we didn't apply to be given birth to in northern Uganda where there was war. The best thing the government could have done, the northern Uganda or the areas where when you be in, community a special treatment or special attention. Leave alone the South. Leave alone because you also know very well, the Nusab is not only here in northern Uganda, the Nusab benefited people in Tororo.
It has been extended to Busoga and Bunyoro.
So now,
That is no south for Malta.
the thing I'm trying to say here is, you have the people from northern Uganda who have been begging and we're only waiting to receive from the UN for the past 20 years. Lendo Ling. Let me say then you want to treat them at the same level with those who are drinking milk in Western Uganda. Doesn't make sense. Now, we needed to have gone through mindset change. Mapoti many. Even the different NGOs who came here.
Then I pick a record ni 40 man.
Even the different NGOs who came here concentrated in seeing me, funding skikilo down. Eto, can you mean channel killer poor, I am not trying to say anyone will poor, but I'm trying to say we needed government and make program to change our mindsets. Nenba, obey Guinea for 20 years. Ma obey Kuana. I remember Anagamo. Again for more gallant for UN. All food. More money killing gallant. I got it. Now go a man did.
Pick 1 year.
Pick 1 year. I tell 1 year ago, one rosary.
Coffee, sir.
Coffee. Don't tell me rosary. When I was in primary. So we are more in 20 years. Kapora for in the one you need. We were 2 more joke and prosperity for one wing. Living alone that they can let's secure. Enter we put in because you're 1 million. Believe me, we can gang one about. We have people who have never touched 1 million shillings a king. If you 1 million a king, Chang is too concentrated. There are things you cannot say tin pabi chamu pen chama but I'm going to invest the money. I have this feeling for a person to be in good position to save money needs to first have a constant flow of money. Saving cannot happen if you don't have a constant flow because there are things that demand from you daily. Tell a and you can't say it because I take a chance and I bet one, but I will get a chance. No, it doesn't go that way. So the government failed in one thing. We should have gone through some rehabilitation. Then after that, he made our special programs. Special program for bedin peppers. Can aerobate we want these people to also come and work together with the other citizens of Uganda.
For my chair. Chawa wagere tika chair yo chi ladi la beja a mete a kel in so far kumberi chana waneno lok meluenyi kum HIV new vision on kumberi chana clarity statistics food publishing and my wajani every 1 hour there are 4 Ugandans getting HIV AIDS. I don't know whether the figures climbed down or they climbed up, but I know that is a very huge progress. If it is now only 4 people getting HIV in 1 hour. But also, Amir Wiwapo will need peace and stability is one of the biggest achievements for this NRM government. For the past many years, the country has been stable. Now, kawacher kalor ne labeja.
Maybe before Labeja comes in, I want to put this on record. However much we appreciate the government for a few things, security. We also need to remind the citizens and the government itself, because we are all government. We need to remind the citizens, even when we appreciate them for long security, it is also their roles to do that. Over pagamento me yor com que annuelene, cago mio, o mini che tigri, but pagamento me guaco, bebe panuelene, but pagamento me kilo yo annuelene. Entro, cache don gien, più che me a waragi, Yeah, no other government could have done this. Then they are wrong.
afoyo kelo spoyo wi jo atika neno wa so labeja kawa chaka tiako ne awajo ni we have peace awajo ni via health kumberitani alaka tie awajo bene ni via education amir bene po widano ni waneno curriculum bene lake. That I think can be a huge achievement. Ni our country, wala o curriculum, kwan matika time ni pate kwan mo time chone. So, Amiro Kong were breaking down these things into northern Uganda. The president is just left northern Uganda, particularly a Chole sub-region. Programs are more ma president of Loro ye matie particularly tailored to a Chole sub-region. Kawachar kalor program.
Amero foil in la man TV man da hodo. Amero foil in motivation da. Ki umera e mi no nget matut mada ko mo ma de me Uganda. Ka wana no ma president of the wars. Northern Uganda. I was really very surprised. PM Donald mi lo pera ngo ma diga ni lo no Uganda di bero pek ma da PM ki bero kami ka ke jo man no ka ri da mi lo from the afro yo mo ke ni ke na mo the key people we are talking was chairpersons mid district by NRM polo ato mano fu pego ke lo point ma ke meten no wana na bero ka chi mo ke ni chawa so Manire will not have enough time all the leaders will not have enough time to share the actual problems Matika facing Northern Uganda, both presidents. And kita la dito daw wayo chan. We are taking a look at them are just yes men and women. A lot of issues ma I expect an issue to have been of an attention to the president. Picking me. I was listening to issues with Amur. I expect an issue lokoma pa. Don't want to watch all in unison. If the issue is not sorted, we further killing more.
It is on record, but let me commend the NRM chairperson for Bulu City. She made a statement, man, we very clearly we also asked the president to sort out Lokmiapa. And I think she's the only NRM chairperson who
But
said
it was not a unanimous.
There was not.
she presented it as the person did, which is good, which is a good start to
Which
me.
is a good start.
Yes.
So
Honest.
in Amuro, I expect it to be loudest in Amuro, but unfortunately,
Wow, Mugate.
the issue of Balado, I found because the president had already issued a directive what team Balado for He chair or tung because America was tung la more why no Balado pay out of with you. You know, no fencing with a lot of warning. They no trespass. They don't your country. Okay. President of chair East actually. Local cattle wrestlers. Power win your cutting.
And then
So
let me first add this. Aberga war I tuare you male sub county. Aneno farmer chain more. Lumonyari o tika gwa kone ki doge. What don't you farm pija? Pay donyo. So I think it adds to ngome wajeni warning not here my did me no trespass.
So to some extent, anoni representation what very true. Chalo wana churu. Dana ma what you gara tian geni ngutian utum tingwa. You take a look. What you American tell ma they want something for the camera for a given period of time. Because this was the time they want to feel that if these issues are not sorted once and for all, maybe no too. But surprisingly, people are just yes men and women. Give me a metaphor. I was listening to clip video more in the 19 early days. You cannot come here and begin saying we thank the Mr. President for doing for us this, we thank those are his responsibilities.
Someone can tell you the problem is not the president. The problems are our representatives.
That is absolutely right. Because they did not talk.
Panelists wa amira wachuni kachel ki viewers wa chawa wadong petima be amira fo wu wario Mobino Miguel Miguel kachel ki ladit lambeja kachel ki in mai kwani kar ni mineno wa lok eni no dong tima miet mada dok miet atika meda erno chawa wadong pel biye. We shall continue. We met the king nyako matut manifestos pa presidential candidates mukeni weng magyobu o in northern Uganda. We ngiru matut ngo magyo wayo kikita guru kere wan luak me northern Uganda. Kabene vura tie maguru vulu beno we ngiru maturi ye. After 15 and machala host Dr. Fred amede ki watchini for 4 matek me bien kanenwa. Subscribe to all our YouTube channels. Thank you and bye bye.